I went to see Creed 2 on Saturday night with my son, so I missed the Dwight Howard story. I'm just kind of catching up on this Dwight Howard story.
I'm not sure that it's being widely reported, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot of the more urban sites are picking up on it because it's a very sketchy story.
Because who knows what's true and what's not.
Who knows what's true? Although there are phone messages. Right? I just listened to what I think is Dwight Howard leaving a message on her
If you're like
machine.
me and you weren't aware of the story, and I'm reading this from clutchpoints.com, but the story reads...
Great source.
Dwight Howard breaks the internet for all the wrong reasons after someone came out and claimed to be his ex-boyfriend. To make matters worse, the man who goes by the name Mason Aligi accuses Howard of threatening and sexually harassing him. The shock value of the news comes from all angles, and further reading into the tweets thread takes anyone who dives into it for a spin, but apparently this is a transsexual male who he supposedly met on MTV's Wild 'N Out show.
No, I think it was a club.
I saw something about MTV and the show Wild 'N Out.
Oh, maybe it was.
That that's like their first meeting.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right. That's the Nick Cannon show, right? So maybe it was.
Travis, Valdez, you want to shed some light on this?
No, JP's doing all right.
Okay.
He's all over it.
It's weird. So I guess she's accusing him of having a relationship with, and then trying to keep him or her quiet. I'm not sure how you referred. Some of these articles are referring to this transsexual as a him. Some are referring to it as a her. I don't know.
Mason said that it's a he. He said he's a he.
Okay.
Identifies as a male.
Okay. Who knows what anybody identifies with anymore?
An ex-boyfriend. But it's just more drama for the Wizards. And who knows if any of this is true. You're playing these clips, and they were playing them, and they were just fighting
the voicemails?
They were fighting that it sounds like it's clipped together. Like maybe
it's butt fake audio.
Yeah.
But to make it shorter, but, he apparently recorded the audio interaction he had with Dwight.
I could hear,
and I don't know.
/her interaction. It definitely didn't sound like it was the same, but it's got Dwight Howard's voice on tape, right? That sounds like Dwight.
It does sound like Dwight.
Yeah. Do you want to play Dwight's part?
I have it edited. We can play the full kind of back and forth.
All right. Well, it's fake, though.
We don't know.
How do we know if it's really Dwight?
Allegedly.
It sounds like him.
Sounds like him.
And then he has the receipts that they interact.
And isn't a pastor involved in this?
Yes, his minister was making threatening phone calls to Mason on a blocked caller ID. She figured out it. And that's he's involved. Saying I think he said he was gonna kill her or something like that.
Right.
Him. That team's just a mess.
It's HIV out there. It's herpes out there. It's other STDs out there. And you're going to sex parties people raw. What type of man did your mother raise you to be a man like that? Did your father raise you to be a man like that? Yeah, my gosh. That's all you can say. And you know that I'm not lying, because if I was lying, you would say, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. You're lying. And you know I'm not lying. Just keep it real.
Most people have to fight for credibility and who they are. I don't have to do that when I'm the one.
No. Oh, my God. I literally...
It's impossible to follow.
Yeah,
it's impossible to follow.
Can you ask you who's more dumb, though? Okay? This is a who's stupider. If this is true with Dwight Howard, how is Adrian Peterson admitting that he's still using a belt on his kid?
I don't
That
understand.
has to be the dumbest thing.
It is really
First of
dumb.
all, it's ridiculous to do that in this day and age.
Yeah.
And then if you're accused of it... And
why talk about it again?
I don't even remember how it got played out, but if he was arrested, whatever, they took his kid... I've already forgotten the original thing, but he admitted to using a switch. He got suspended by the NFL and all these different things. And then he says, I'm still doing it.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Shocking.
I can't believe he's still talking about it.
So who's dumber, Dwight Howard, Adrian Peterson?
I sent you nudes of me, Dwight.
Well,
I don't know.
If that is Dwight, he's just a freak.
Well, apparently the allegation is he's big into transgender sex parties and whatever floats your boat. That's fine.
Peterson's just stupid.
Peterson is more critical. The thing about the Peterson thing is I am a little bit torn on it because to me it seems abusive, frankly. But I know
you
that
told me that you wanted to be in your Dwight.
I know, stop. But I know in some cultures, in some parts of the country, even here, it's kind of accepted and not seen the way that we see it.
Right.
So I'm a little torn on it, but it seems crazy
but the
to admit
stupidity
it.
is talking about it.
Of course. Of course.
So He was indicted in September of 2014 on felony child abuse charges of the wooden
But
switch
what was
on
he
his son.
ultimately convicted of?
November of 2014, a couple months after, the legal case was settled
Okay.
when he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of reckless assault.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 2-year probation. He was fined, and he was ordered to perform 80 hours of community service. He was taken off the field on week 1 on the commissioner's exempt list, and then he was suspended without pay for 6 games of the season.
Well, and he also took a horrific hit to his image.
Of course.
And, everything.
Well, can he be arrested again for admitting that he still does it?
I don't know. I think his biggest fear would be losing his gig.
Well, yeah.
And it's just so he's in an interview, and by the way, he said he would never ever do it again in 2014. He would never use the switch, and he's in this interview with
Les Carpenter, isn't it?
I thought it was
Master.
his master,
Oh, okay.
Tesfastian.
Yeah.
He said, had to discipline my son the other day and spank him the other day with the belt. By the way,
Some
do you
people
call it a
do that.
spanking with the belt?
Some people do that. I had a neighbor kid that lived in our neighborhood, and his father would spank, him and his sisters with a belt. It was kind of terrifying. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. You're trying to discipline them with fear so they don't do something again.
some people still do it. I would never do it. I would never spank my kid. I would never do that. But,
That era's over. Our
I
parents
think
could get
so.
away with it. Our era. And just to,
But my mother, she did, for whatever it's worth, she
Sure.
did spank me. Didn't do any good. And she washed out my mouth with soap.
I was spanked
I
a
had all
couple
that old
times.
school
I think
stuff.
that happened one time with me.
You got spanked one time?
No. My mother never spanked me.
She washed your
She
mouth
washed
out?
my mouth out.
You're too big.
Well, I wasn't always big.
I mean, it's supposed to be intimidation.
Believe me, there was a time where my mother was bigger than me. But I would never do that to my kids.
But I mean, spectacularly stupid to talk about.
yes.
Terrible to do
I
it.
think what it shows is he was just trusting of the reporter. And the reporter, but he trusted the reporter, and so he let his guard down.
Howard, he just might be a freak.
Well,
Dwight
if
Howard's
that's
probably a
him,
freak.
It probably is, yeah.
Probably sucks.
Well, he's still dumb.
Dumb too.
Dumb for
Well,
getting-
what is Dwight Howard's stupid? I mean, I guess if he's threatening a person.
Well, if he's threatening someone and he's getting involved with someone that's made public claims against people before and got involved in drama, he's dumb for getting involved
Right,
with these
right. And
people.
I didn't even see it. Does he have like direct messages back and forth, which are going to get like the guys going to
Yeah,
be able to
those-
prove
yeah.
it all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those can often be
They're-
fake.
yeah, they've
But
been
the
fake.
audios was damning to me. Not of the boyfriend talking, but of
Right.
Dwight talking. That means already he's definitely involved.
Dwight.
I don't care what that person says. It's just that Dwight's involved with this craziness. It's just not good.